Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I felt like doing a digital drawing and I thought this would be a perfect occasion to hop on the camera and show you my drawing and coloring process and guide you through it. As you can tell, I'm starting off with the initial sketch being already done. It's my most essential step for doing any kind of digital or traditional illustration because only then I can actually sketch out the concept for the drawing that I'm gonna be doing and take some time to figure out the good proportions, the pose, and all of those little details that I'm gonna be taking care of later on. So after I'm done and happy with my initial sketch, I'm picking my most favorite brush for PROCREATE, and this is the lines brush from the sketch set from Blue Satan. I'm gonna link it down below so you guys can check it out. And what I'm gonna be doing right now is I'm gonna turn the opacity of my initial sketch layer down a little bit to like a 50% or something like this, so it's still visible but it's not overwhelming and too saturated so I can't see what I'm gonna be drawing right now. And then I'm creating another layer on top of my initial sketch layer, and on this new layer with the lines brush I'm gonna be refining my sketch a little bit, but still at this point I'm not minding the details that much. It's still kind of a rough sketch but a little bit more refined than the initial sketch. So this step is the best for getting rid of the excessive lines from your initial sketch. I'm just going over the most crucial and essential lines for this drawing. I'm not overlining everything, I'm just trying to pick those most accurate lines. And once I'm kind of done with my black outline, what I really like to do is play around with the color scheme. This step gives me the opportunity to see whether the colors that I planned in my head are still looking good on the paper, and in this case on the screen. And this is the moment where I can actually pick the proper colors and play around with them a little bit to make sure that they fit my drawing. And with this illustration, I really feel like playing around some fall colors like browns, mustardy, and maybe burgundy for the lips. So this is the color scheme I'm planning to do. So the next step for me will be refining the sketch again. And here I'm creating another layer and I'm placing it above all the layers that I've already created. And I'm taking the lines brush again using the black color and I'm gonna overline everything once more. And now I'm making sure that everything is pretty refined because this is going to be the outline for the illustration, my base that I'm gonna be coloring later on. So here actually I'm trying to be a little bit more precise and accurate with my lines to make the sketch a little bit cleaner and more refined. And once this is done, I'm hiding all the layers that I have under my clean version of the sketch. And then what I'm gonna be doing is also another pretty essential step while creating any digital illustration, at least for me. Because what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna flip my canvas horizontally to make sure that my proportions are correct. And here, like you can already tell, the face drawing, once it's flipped, it doesn't look that good and I really need to fix that. So my favorite tool to fix those mistakes is the Liquify tool. And what it allows you to do, it gives you an option to kind of push around your drawing until the moment you're satisfied with it. You guys see it on the screen for yourselves, so I hope that you understand what I'm saying. So at this point I'm doing my best to fix the drawing. I'm also using the select tool and I'm pushing around the elements of my drawing. In this case it was an eye that was a little bit problematic, so I moved it around a little bit and I think I managed to fix that. So once I felt like I managed to fix all the mistakes, I flipped the canvas horizontally once more and I will be working on my drawing a little bit more to refine it a little bit and to finish it up and finish the sketching part. So now it's finally the time that we're gonna move on to the coloring part. And here I always like to start with coloring the skin because I feel like it's the main element, so I'm taking care of it first. So first I'm going in with a flat layer of color with the complexion color that I chose for today's character, and today I planned on doing light complexion. So once this is done, I'm taking slightly more saturated and darker color than my base color and I'm going over the shaded areas of the face. For coloring in the skin, you can use pretty much any brush you like, but my most favorite ones are the medium hard airbrush and the round brush. But I usually tend to gravitate towards the medium hard airbrush because it's more airbrushed and skin-like. So I'm repeating the procedure of applying the shadows on my drawing a couple of times, and I usually take slightly darker color every time to deepen up the shadows. And in between applying the layers of color, I also like to soften them up with the smudge tool, so I'm repeating all those steps a couple of times until I'm satisfied with the result. And my overall goal when coloring the skin is to make it look basically as natural as possible and giving it still this kind of drawing feeling. I hope you guys know what I mean. So here the procedure is gonna be quite boring and repetitive because the only things that I'm gonna be doing is I'm going to be deepening up the shadows and trying to make the highlights pop at the same time. So once I'm pretty much done with coloring the skin, I like to move on to the other elements of my drawing, and I usually move on to eyes next. And then what I like to do is I'm moving on to coloring the hair, and in this manner I'm kind of working on all the elements of the drawing at the same time, and then I can control all the elements so I can see what I need to add or what I need to erase. And with coloring the hair, it's basically the same kind of procedure like with coloring any other element of my drawing. First, I'm going in with the base color, then I'm adding the shadows, and at the end, I'm applying the highlights and some little pops of color. But one thing I really like to do that gives me this more natural effect when it comes to coloring in the hair, I really like to add another layer on top of my hair coloring layer, and then I'm drawing in those particular strands of hair and those little flyaway pieces to give the hair some texture and make it look more natural and human-like. So when I'm done with those main elements of my drawing, like the skin, hair and clothing in this particular case, I usually like to play around with details and adding some little tweaks to make my drawing pop and make it unique. So here you can see that I'm adding the eyelashes, some blush on her cheeks, some pops of light on her lips to make them look more juicy and natural. I also like to add some particular strands of hair to the I also like to draw on little streaks of hair in her eyebrows to make them look more natural, and I'm basically doing all those little things and repeating them again and again until the moment that I'm satisfied with my drawing. And at this point I noticed that something with this illustration is not that correct. I feel like her face is a little bit off and it really needs some tweaking. So here to the rescue comes my very favorite tool that I already showed you at the beginning of the process, the Liquify tool. So with this tool I'm gonna try to alternate the proportions a little bit and kind of squeeze especially her face to make it look a little bit more proportionate and just basically better. feel like the step changed the drawing for the better, and now I'm really eager to finish it up. So now again, I'm just gonna play around with the drawing a little bit. I'm gonna add some little details, some really minor things, but I'm gonna try to polish this drawing and refine it as much as I can, and until the moment that I'm just happy with it. That will be pretty much all for my today's tutorial. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it and that you found some tips and tricks that will be helpful for you in your future drawings. And well, I also really hope that you like the drawing that I created today. Let me know in the comments all your thoughts and opinions. And also one more thing, all the brushes that I've used to create today's drawing will be listed in my description box, so please check that out before asking. And well, I'll be wrapping up for now, so thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all and I can't wait to see you in my upcoming videos. Take care, bye!
I'm just going with the gut, never had a doubt, felt like this is just a must. Put me in perspective, I'm the deepest in the cut. Everybody tuning in, but this is just for us now.